3 opportunities that are up for application.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, we have the Heroes of Tomorrow UN SDG Action Awards. And this award recognizes people with bold, measurable action to build a sustainable, just, and peaceful future in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And through this awards, they are going to select 9 finalists from around the world, so in Africa, Asia, around, to join in a coaching and capacity building program ahead of the award ceremony on Thursday, the 29th of October 2026. So that's for the Heroes of Tomorrow UN SDG Awards. We also have the NL Foundation Open Global Power Program.
Wow.
This is a training platform for sustainable energy evolving from Open Africa Power and Open Brazil Power. It equips a new generation of energy professionals with technical, regulatory, and business skills to drive a just and inclusive energy transitioning. So this is the 2026 edition, and they are bringing learning pathways from across Italy, Africa, Brazil, and Chile. The program includes online models plus a selective in-person residential week in Italy for top performers. Finally, we have the Numerics Women in Finance Scholarship Program. This program supports outstanding female graduate students pursuing career in finance with a focus on asset management, risk management, fixed income, and derivatives within capital markets. This scholarship aims to empower the next generation of female finance leaders by funding graduate-led studies. So that's it from last week's recap.
Amazing. So we should zoom in into opportunities for this week.
Yes. Okay, so for today, we have the Carnegie Mellon University Africa Innovation Hub Business Incubation Program. This program is a 12-month program for tech founders in Africa. It is helping startups with a proof of concept prototype and early market validation to turn their product into a revenue generating venture. And the eligibility criteria is that your startup must be under 2 years old and it must be building a scalable tech-enabled solution for a defined African market with a path to profitability and inclusive impact. You must have a functional proof of concept prototype with early validation and a credible business model. It must be led by at least 2 committed co-founders working full-time on the venture, and then the company must be registered. The benefits are they are given $50,000 in seed funding, and this is coming from the Carnegie Mellon University Africa. So there's 12 months of advisory support on products, growth, compliance, and investment. They're also giving you 5,000 in AWS credits, and they're giving you 1,500 in Amazon technical support. They're also going to introduce you to angel investors, VCs, and partners in Africa and Pittsburgh. They're also giving you access to the Carnegie Mellon University African Partnership Ecosystem and also their entrepreneurship network. But the deadline for this application is May 20th, 2026. May 20th, 2026.
That is so soon.
That's so soon.
Within next week. So venture builders around Ghana, please look at this application and apply to that as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay, second on our list, we have the Atlantic Dialogue Emerging Leaders Program 2026. This is also a fully funded leadership initiative and is bringing together 40 plus emerging leaders from Africa and across the Atlantic Basin. So the 13th edition is connecting high-impact professionals from the public sector, private sector, think tanks, academia, and the civil society for high levels, and also bring in cross-sector discussions and long-term networking. So participants will engage in a tailored leadership training workshop and also the Atlantic Dialogues Conference. To be eligible for this program, you must be between the ages of 25 and 35 as of December 6th, 2026. They're also checking out for your English proficiency. And also you must be a citizen or a resident of an African country or any country in the Atlantic basin, that is in Europe, America, or the Caribbean. Must also have significant professional experience with responsibility, influence, and decision making. It must also be available for the full program between 6th to 12th December 2026. The benefits are there's a full funded experience at Rabat. There's a tailored leadership training with interactive workshops, and there's a lifetime membership in the Atlantic Dialogues Emerging Leaders Alumni Network. There's also access to the Atlantic Dialogues Conference, and then there's a direct engagement with senior decision makers and experts. The deadline is Sunday, June 14th, 2026. You want to check out www.policycenter.ma for the application links and also more details. Finally, we have the AFCFTA, that is the African Continent Free Trade Area Startup Acceleration and Partnership Program 2026. This is in partnership with the Korea Africa Foundation, and is identifying and supporting high potential African startups. The program will strengthen business with capability and then facilitate market expansion. There's also a chance to build strategic partnership between Africa and the Republic of Korea. This aligns with the African continent free trade area goals of advancing intra-African trade, promoting industrial development, and also helping African businesses compete globally. So to be eligible, you have to be an open Africa startup, and you must have an innovative and scalable business model. You must be ready for international expansion, and you must be interested in entering the Korean and global markets. Must also be operating within the African continent free trade area priority sectors, that is fintech, e-commerce, logistics, agri-tech, manufacturing, and then digital platforms. The benefits are you get business development support, that is capacity building, mentorship, market readiness training, and then strategic advisory. You also get market expansion opportunities, that is you get access to Korea and global markets. There's also international trade facilitation and also exposure to cross-border ecosystems. There's also investment and partnership, that is they'll give you networking with investors, strategic partners, and also opportunities for cross-continental collaborations. The deadline is May 24th, 2026. So that is close as well. So you want to check the AFCTA.org websites and also check out for more details and apply for the program.
Thank you, Jackie. It's always a pleasure when you come across and give us all the interesting opportunities for young people. And as I always ask you, which one is your favorite one, and which one do you think young people should keep an eye on? I know there are two of them with short deadlines, which is So which one is your favorite one?
I think if anything, they should go for the two short ones. Those are the ones I like, especially the last one I read, because of the areas that they are interested in. That is fintech, e-commerce, agri-tech, manufacturing, and digital platforms. These are areas that are they're not untapped. There's more to do in these areas, especially in agri-tech. So,
and do you know the most interesting part? Today on our conversation, we are going to have a gentleman that is into frog farming.
I see.
Eish.
I see.
And it's going to be an interesting conversation. And I like that you ended on agri-tech and agri-based farming, agri-based enterprise development. And today we are focusing on student enterprise development within the agri space. Okay. And we are going to have an interesting conversation, and I'm looking forward to it. But before that, we are going to, let me also let you know, if you're listening to us and you want to join us on socials, it's ZFMGH on Instagram, on Facebook and X, and it's Z Multimedia on TikTok and YouTube. Join us, tune in, comment, and let us have an amazing show. Before we zoom into our interview segments, we are going to listen to a short music, and then we'll be back.
101.9 FM.
And today our topic is student enterprise development within the Agrifood Systems. And we have two dynamic guests that we are going to do this with. And as I mentioned earlier on, if you didn't know, there is a budding frog farming industry in Ghana. So I was at the restaurant one day and I saw on the menu frog legs, and just something came into my mind. How are we sourcing frogs for the restaurants to use? And of course, there should be a budding industry of frog farmers in Ghana and student enterprises that are doing this, and that is interesting. And then we also have an enterprise development support person from Takoradi Technical University also to have this conversation. And so, without much ado, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. I will start with Mr. Anthony.
All right.
Please introduce yourself to our guests.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Oliver.
Yes.
The man of the people. Yeah. So basically, my name is Anthony Agekum. I'm the programs coordinator for Takoradi Technical University Innovation Hub.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we basically do is we work and support students and young graduates. You know, we don't only work only at the university, also consider the ecosystem to support them to unleash their entrepreneurial, prowess. And that is what has brought us to this platform.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for honoring the invitation to be on the show today.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. We also have Mr. Frederick. Frederick is the man of the moment now. So, Frederick, introduce yourself to us and what you do.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Oliver. First of all, I'll say good afternoon to your cherished listeners out there, those on social media. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Frederick Abendeba, popularly called Orlando. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Ecolip and Run Cuisine.
Wow.
Ecolip and Run Cuisine. It's an agribusiness that is into the production of edible bullfrogs.
Edible bullfrogs. Okay.
In northern Ghana, precisely Navrongo.
Okay.
We have three main types of edible frogs in Ghana, which are the grass frogs, the crown bullfrogs, and the African bullfrogs. The grass frogs, crown bullfrogs, and African bullfrogs. These are the three main edible frogs in Ghana. And we have started this novel business to produce them more and in turn process them for the Ghanaian and international market.
Amazing. I mean, today, this is one of the first times I've seen anybody into frog farming. And it's interesting that it's a young person. Frederick, you didn't mention your affiliation. So you are currently a student. Tell us more about that.
Yes, I'm actually a student in the University for Development Studies.
Okay.
Navrongo campus.
Okay.
And I'm studying statistics.
Studying statistics. So
that's okay.
Maybe I ask you a follow-up question. So where is the frog farming coming from? Or the frog rearing of bullfrogs coming from?
Yes, actually, Oliver, it has been a major question most people ask as a young person. Why do you decide to go into frog farming and nothing else? I happen to grow in a community that is a fishing community in Navrongo. We call it Gongnia.
Okay.
And my father, though a Liberian, was a fisherman. My grandfather was a fisherman. Many a times when they go out for fishing expedition, when they come back, they do come with these edible frogs and fish.
Okay.
So in times where there is more fish, they will break the legs of these frogs and keep them in pots and in some smaller ponds. So that any day they go out for fishing, once they don't get any fish, they'll come back and rely on the frog
legs
for protein. Actually, we grew up also consuming these frogs. It is a delicacy in the north. Communities like Kumbungu, Bolga, Zebila, Navrongo, Para, Kanjara, Sandema, Dorninga, there are a lot more communities that consume this.
Okay.
So we said, okay, if truly we consumed this some years ago, and even as it stands in the market, there are market women, there are frog mongers, why not produce them? Why hunt from the wild? Actually, we have some number of NGOs that came to advocate against the wild hunting of these frogs because of their them getting extinct.
Okay.
So in so doing, we said no. Fish farming was not common. Someone started it.
Yeah.
So why can't we start frog farming? So that we discourage people from going into wild hunting. We recruit all those hunters in as outgrowers.
Okay.
So that they will produce more of these frogs in ponds. Then we as a business will not rely on them, process them hygienically for the Ghanaian market.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, this is very fascinating for me, and we'll delve deeper into it. I come to Mr. Anthony, and then your work with Student Ventures. Today we are focusing on the Agrifood System, and so I want to know, I know TTU is part of the Incarbom Collaborative, which is supporting young students within the agri-food and nutrition systems. How has the journey been supporting young, driven agri-food related businesses?
Very well. Yeah, just before that, I wanted to top up something.
Please top up.
Like a validation. I could see you had so much interest in this.
Yes.
Yeah, so myself over here, I've lived in the north.
Okay.
You know, when I was schooling at the basic level, and we used to go hunt for some and consume.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So I have lived a jungle life in the past. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So just to let you know that it's actually a delicacy that some people consume. But
Amazing.
It's a good thing. But to also come back to your question, I mean, it all boils down to our food security. I think last time when we held the meeting, I was given the platform to co-present with one of the presenters.
Yeah.
Just a brief moment.
Yeah.
And then the key question I asked, which was, has anyone not eaten for the past 24 hours?
Of course, everybody has.
There was definite silence, which indicated that everyone eats. But the question we ask ourselves is, the food we are producing, is it enough, to feed us as a nation? I mean, there's growing concern about our food insecurity. As you know, Ghana is a net importer. Ghana, after independence, how many years? And then to even resonate more with Gen Zs.
Yeah.
If I ask you Ghana jollof or Nigeria jollof, I'm sure you say what?
My Nigerian friends will beat me, but I'll say Ghana jollof.
Ghana jollof.
Yes.
What is the major raw material of Ghana jollof?
Rice.
Like, what makes rice jollof? There's a certain raw material.
Okay.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Yeah. Tomatoes. Yeah. But let's ask ourselves, how is the availability of tomatoes?
Yeah.
It's under threat.
Yeah.
When Burkina Faso announced they wanted to, cut short, what happened? There was fear and panic and all of that, which meant if you don't have control of our raw material, like even tomatoes, we might even lose that war.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it is important that we begin to take food security as a national issue.
Yeah.
And why is it even a bigger question now? It's even a bigger question because statistics or data shows that the older age who are into farming are gradually not, are gradually not producing as much as we need.
Yeah.
And the younger age are also not migrating to join. And that is creating a gap. And that gap, how do we fill it in? And that is why this Nkabom program has come in to see how we can inspire students to take the issue about agri-food as a serious matter, because to become food insecure as a nation, we need to be able to inspire the youth, who are also having a challenge in terms of getting jobs. Yeah. So whilst this is a low-hanging fruit for you to tap in to get your jobs, what happens, whilst we are being food insecure, and then there's an opportunity which is untapped. Yeah. And this is what Nkabom is all about. I
am excited that you went that trajectory, and I want you to speak about your experience, especially with this boot camp that you've been in, the kind of ideas that you are seeing, the kind of enthusiasm that the young people are putting forth. Do you think, and you mentioned food security, do you think Ghana has a future within the agri-food system, and especially towards entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs building in that field?
Exactly, we have a future. Yes, we have a future. Looking at what all of us are doing, when I say all of us, the Nkabom network, the UGBs, Nest, Innovation Hub and all of that. And even last week, the minister came to talk about the fact that they are also instituting similar programs like the SEED and the Ejumawura program, all geared towards, ensuring that people are going into agriculture and all of that. So I think there is this realization by all stakeholders. So that one I can say, based on that, I think there's hope. And then in terms of what is the zeal among the student level, what this Nkabom thing has done is using a very novel approach. How do we inspire the zeal among youth? Because remember, we are dealing with Gen Zs. So even when we came, one of the lessons that we had was how do we interact with the Gen Zs in terms of trying to inspire them to embrace agriculture. If then agriculture wasn't attractive, is it now that it's attractive?
That it's going to be attractive?
So we're taking through how Gen Zs learn and all of that. And we've been able to imbibe some of these things into our various programs. So let's talk about, you cannot just, take a Gen Z through a 5-hour lecture on agric and expect him to embrace it. We inculcate a number of stuff. We realize that they love to go digital. So we've added some digital innovations. We didn't even do a full-time in-person. We did virtual. So those who were able to, attend in-person did. Those who
were able
who
to
opted for virtual also did. So we're ensuring that there's inclusivity, and then aside that, the approach, gamifications, right? Yeah. They love to challenge, they love to challenge. So there are some of the times we put across entrepreneurship challenge, like not necessarily because he's even interested, he wants to win. And all of these things are exciting the youth. And then these are some of the innovations that we are doing. And then come down to what are some of the things we are seeing. There's this proverb that the goat does not know it has the capacity to bite until you push it to the wall. And that is what we are seeing. Most of these guys that we are talking about do not have background in agriculture. Over 90%. They do not have background in agriculture. But what happens? We give them the exposure. So when we came here and the Nkabom network gave us the trainer of the trainer program, what we did was that we now went to impact it.
Impact the knowledge.
And how did we impact? All the various topics in terms of Agrifood Systems, everything, even entrepreneurship and all of that was transferred to them. Branding, marketing, business model canvas and all of that. And right after that, we'll tell you, after we put them into groups, focus group discussions, to trigger ideation and all of that, some of them started coming out with some ideas. We are so amazed.
By
Because they have the phone at hand. So if maybe out of a small challenge you've identified, how are you able to link it to a global challenge? Or even how are you able to link it to a global solution? They can easily browse, okay, how is it done elsewhere? And if they find it either from YouTube and all of that, they're able to link it to the challenge they're solving, and then they can localize it. So these are the innovations that we have actually rolled out to inspire youth at our level, which has actually, should I say, ignited, for lack of a better word, the spirit of entrepreneurship, especially in the agri-food system.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony. I'll come to you, Frederick.
Okay.
And then we look at the market for what you're doing. I mean, it is one thing to have, let's say, the local people be interested in the frogs and stuff. But it's another thing building a business out of it and having access to the market, and then linking to possible people that will be able to make sure your business grows large scale. So I want you to tell me about how you found a market for the frog farming you're doing, and how does that work for you?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
The business actually started when we identified that the demand for frog meat is actually high, but its supply was limited.
Okay.
And how do we bridge the supply gap? And that is why we went into using the Agrifood system to produce more of these bullfrogs. This is how the market is. The local market as it stands, where we always have to twist the legs, smoke it, supply to the local market, is very good for us.
Okay.
But then we were targeting that market. When we started it, then we saw countries like France, Thailand, Vietnam, China, going to the extra mile of skinning the frogs, using some innovative way of preparing them. And we started doing that. Then we saw that people, like some other restaurants, were calling in for our products. So what do we have to do? We have to increase the production in order to meet the demand. For the market is very there. It's just good for us. Amazing. It is just the supply that is still limited. We want to increase production. Want to produce more.
Okay. On that basis, I want to ask how systems like the Nkabom Collaborative or the local innovation hub, because I know Professor Mahmoudou, for instance, runs the innovation ecosystem in UDS, and some of you guys are benefiting from trainings, are benefiting from incubation programs that are run there. How does that support the kind of business that you're running? Maybe you can link it to also the Nkabom Collaborative and the kind of training you receive. How does that impact your business?
Yes, I'm very grateful for that. At institutional level, it has not been easy. They were actually able to link us to SARI.
Okay.
And they were to help optimize the production of these bullfrogs. The major challenge we had was how to mimic their natural environment.
Okay.
And these ponds, so that they were able to breed more. And they were able to link us to them. We sought for help in getting some greenhouses where we were able to get some number of shade, then to construct the ponds. Besides that too, coming into Nkabom collaborative here, there are a lot of things that experience that we have gained in Ecolib. I can recall Dr. Alfred in our breakout session, pick us through a lot, especially with Ecolib business. He mentioned certain aquatic plants that could help feed and help in the breeding of these bullfrogs. He was interested in partnering, and that is what we are talking about. Had it been because of Nkabom, I wouldn't have met him.
Yeah.
And that is what we talk about. We went to Tema as part of our trip, Tema Fishing Harbor.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the woman there mentioned that part of Lomé, that's in Togo, and what's the name, Nigeria. She has people, market women, who come with these frogs to sell. So if at the end they are seeing our product where we have a skin frog, processed hygienically, fried, grilled, and frozen, they will even prefer ours to what they do bring. And that is one of the good things that we will learn through the Nkabom Collaborative.
Amazing. Thank you, Frederick. I'll come back to you, Mr. Anthony, and ask, programmatically, what kind of opportunities exist for young people, especially young aspiring entrepreneurs, in the field of Agrifood Systems. We've mentioned what Enkabom is trying to do and what programming we are trying to put together, but there are still a large number of the young population that don't know that there are such opportunities that are available to them. Our network is dedicated to young people and young Ghanaians that are listening to. So what kinds of opportunities exist within the ecosystem for budding entrepreneurs within the agri-food system?
The opportunities are vast. I wish I could say the vast. So when we say agri, so for example, yesterday, the agri value chain is so wide. So let me even look at it on the thematic level, right? Before I even come to the specifics. For yesterday's example, right from input, right? Input level. So it is even possible to say there's a certain menace around your environment. Waste being generated all over. You are asking yourself, what can you use it for? It can be linked to agri. Is it possible to convert it to manure? Because farmers, once the farmer is on, he may need something like fertilizer to improve productivity. So right from input level, even mechanical devices like fabrication of machines and all of that could also contribute to agriculture value chain. Then we also talk about seeds, right? Also part of the input. Then we come to at the production level, right? Where whatever support that, or let me say whatever intervention that you can do that is commercially viable to support at that production level. Is it to reduce the production time? Is it to increase productivity? There are also opportunities there. So if there are young engineers who are listening, you can begin to think around some of these areas. And then right after that, even harvesting. Farmers pass through laborious processes to be able to harvest, which leads to low productivity and all of that. They have to hire extra labor. So if you are able to come out with a more efficient way of harvesting faster, and then the farmer will be it will be a pain point for the farmer. So he'll be willing to purchase it, because one, it will save him income, effort, and then energy. And then we also have, so I'm talking about even harvesting. After you harvest, we have instances where farmers will harvest and it becomes an albatross. Albatross because they're not finding the market. So are you able to come out with innovations like cold storage innovations, or are you able to come out with processing to prolong the shelf life or something like that? Whatever innovation. It's even possible someone has been able to find a way of storing it in a certain way, whatever that you can do to ensure that, that level is solved. It's a pain point for the farmer. Then even within that storage area, we also have post-harvest losses. Post-harvest is a major issue to the point where we produce and then it goes bad. So interventions that will, solve post-harvest losses. Is it easy access to market? That is also another challenge. So most people finish, some farmers finish and then they are not able to sell their product because probably no one is even aware you have it and all of that. So if you're able to create a smart platform that links the farmer to the consumer, and then even within the marketing chain, farmers are complaining about being cheated. Are you having a platform that is able to, create a win-win situation? That is also an opportunity. Someone could come up with a digital platform, even someone's business could be branding. You are a graphic designer, you think you are not in agri. I'm telling you, you are in big business, right? Through this in carbon that was a Jumora program. We realized that branding alone helps some people to, increase their productivity. Let me say their marketing and all. It was just amazing. And one guy has just picked up, just like that because of branding. So and so many. So when I say vast, there are so many.
So what I hear you saying is that the whole value chain of the agri sector can pose as opportunity point for young people.
Exactly.
So at every point you can innovate and to take advantage of every point in the value chain.
Every point in the value chain.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would just give a follow-up. I think one of the major challenges, and this probably will cut across agric, but then a lot of young people, when you talk to them, the first thing they will say is, "Oh, but we don't have funding." What is the approach? You think is funding a barrier in the first place? Because we sit as programmatics and we sit beyond the core thing, so we will see behind. And most of the times, my perspective is that a lot of the time, people will say they need funding, but what they need is actually not funding. They need something that, if they could get the right networks, if they could get some additional support, they could get that thing without even the money physically being handed to them. And so, do you think funding is a problem? And how do we program our staff so that young people can access some funding, especially within the agri-food system?
Okay, so thank you very much. It's a very good question.
Yeah.
Because I have been within this ecosystem for some time. I've worked with Cosmos Innovation Center for, almost 3 years, and then at Takra Technical University for getting to 1 year now, and most of them come and then their whole mindset is on the money. But that is not. The most important thing in whether even in agribusiness or even entrepreneurship is to identify a compelling problem.
Okay.
Right. And how much do you need to find the problem?
Nothing.
Yeah. By questioning your environment, by doing market research, and market research just going to question people. What do you need? You've gone to school, you've studied so much. What are you doing with that knowledge? Can't you come up with a questionnaire to go and investigate, to, unearth problems that is around you and find how you can fill in those gaps? So if you're able to identify the challenge or the compelling need, a pain point, then you can now begin to negate, let me say, turn it around. How can you come in? And even at the point of how can you come in, right? You can even come in as a value chain actor, not necessarily a direct or indirect actor. As you are standing now, do you know that you can make money, right, without even buying anything?
Of course. We can look at the Abosokai model. I know people, when you go to Abosokai, they don't have any product. They are just standing at the gate.
That's my prayer point. It happened to me last week. The guy said, I'm coming.
And he will get any product for you without even having any product actually that he has bought to sell. And I will transfer this question also to Frederick and ask you whether funding has been a problem for you, and as a business that is growing and being student-led, how have you overcome that challenge, or are you still facing that challenge?
Okay. Well, thank you. Funding is a major issue for most businesses, especially young businesses, to me. In our case, there are certain solutions that when you are using these solutions to solve compelling problems, you certainly need cash. For instance, how do you construct a frog pond? Are you going to organize labor, free labor to come and do the construction, the cement? What of you? You certainly need cash. You need to start from somewhere. But one thing is just that as a young entrepreneur, if truly you have identified a problem and you have gotten a solution to it, then you should be able to make personal commitment to it. I've done a lot of works in order to secure half plot of land near ICO.
Okay.
Talk to ICO manager, though I didn't pay them, but I just have to talk to ICO management so that they will allow me to use the water for 3 months to start the first frog pond.
Okay.
And that was a pilot frog pond. We did it, and the breeding, it was very, very, very good last year. And that was how we started. But then it wasn't what we were getting, that was not enough to support the women we anticipated, the PWDs, persons living with disabilities we anticipated. It wasn't enough. So that is where we seek for funding so that we can increase the production. And truly, God be so good, we had funding from a number of individuals.
Okay.
NGOs came in, like he mentioned. I was with them with KIC. MasterCard through Activate Demo Day also supported us. And we now have a number of ponds. When you go to Chuchulga, we have the grass frog there. When you come to Navrongo, we have the African bullfrog. We go to Seriko, we have the crown bullfrog. Okay. We separated them that way. But as it stands, there are still more women and more persons living with disability who are interested in this bullfrog production. It doesn't take anything. It's not like a normal livestock production where you have to get up and chase it. Even if you are visually impaired, you can't do frog farming. They are there. It's just a matter of feeding them in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And that is all. So all in all, we actually need the funds to help you grow. And that will be your starting point. More, they always say seed fund. Without putting the seed in the ground, the crop will not grow.
So once you are building the business, you need to be able to develop the funds to be able to manage the business, right?
Yes.
And I have a challenge. Maybe, Mr. Anthony, you talk about it a little bit. I have been in this ecosystem for a while also. And I think that any time that you hear young people mention funding, we are in need of funding, the first thing they mean is free money. And I don't know any business in the world that builds with free money. At the end of the day, you are expected to plow back your profits into the business. So why do you need free money? You need investments for you to pay back. But 9 out of 10 times, anytime you ask young people what kind of funding you need, they need grants. And you can't use somebody's money to fund your business. Maybe that is something you can comment on. But I want to ask a substantial question about mentorship, because you work within an innovation hub. What role does mentorship play in terms of guiding these young entrepreneurs, especially within the agri-food system?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so to exhaust the first one, yes, funding at some point may have to come in, and that's why structures like Think G and UG stuff come in. And to also be frank with you, within the social impact investment ecosystem, agribusiness is one thing that stands out. So if you are a youth who is looking for areas you can easily tap into, some of these areas, it is where you should be looking up to, But nevertheless, there is this skin in the game approach that I want to recommend. Skin in the game, whether you are from a family or from wherever, there are resources. When you say funding, it's not necessarily about money. That is where they normally get it wrong. So funding could come in the form of, equipment. It could come in, so the first question you should ask, well, what do I need the funding for? That's why I even said that probably your first business is starting with market research. So if it is market research, what are the leverages? Can you use online? Ask yourself various questions. Are there friends that you can leverage on their time to achieve some things that you would have paid for? Probably your friend is into a certain area that is related to some of the things you would have spent the money on. You can profile them and list all of them. And maybe as a startup, if you now know that, okay, this is a potential business and people are willing to come in, you should also be willing to work with other people to give a share out, especially when people are so much interested in coming in, either to support, in cash or, in kind, so that by the end of the day, when the business becomes a viable one, they will also have something at stake. Because it is better to have 1% of a business that is thriving than 100% of a dormant business. So all this mindset must go on whilst you are also exploring for funding. And it's not a good idea to be jumping from one platform to the other source of funding. At a point you need to sit down and then tell yourself that this is the time to do your homework well and see how and knowledge is one thing, because some of the programs like the Jumora I talked about, some of them before we even finished, they had started increasing productivity. Before the funding arrived, we went back and then they were like, okay, they have increased their, and once they didn't have the knowledge, but the training has exposed them to the knowledge, and then based on that, they are able to do a number of stuff. So basically, this is what I would say. If you are listening to me this afternoon and you are a young person out there, the first thing that you need to succeed in the business is yourself. And then you must have skin in the game and learn to leverage on networks and all of that.
Everybody.
And then,
No, you finish.
You asked the second question, but you come in.
And there was the mentorship part. You go with that, and then I'll ask my question.
So regarding mentorship, just like I'm saying right now, you have people who have so much zeal to do stuff, but it's like they are lost in the dark. You know, so we act more like the catalyst, or should I say the light. So you know, if you don't have light, you can't see well. So you have the vision, but you do not necessarily know how to navigate your way through. So we provide them with the requisite guidance, even from ideation. I remember this Nkabom stuff that we're doing. You know, at 9 we had to go through an ideation with one team, ask him, and at a point I had to just give them one advice: that do not fall in love with your idea, and then don't come to this program with your idea in your pocket. If you do that, you are not going to help all of us. We'll waste our time. We'll teach you. You even identify new opportunity, but you close because you have your idea in your pocket already. You are not willing to change. So as much as possible, try them to be very flexible. You know, when you do the research and realize that this is a problem, but it's not pervasive enough, the scale is not good enough, you drop it quickly, and then you embrace the next one, you know, and then see how you can work on. So mentorship has been very, very, very key, you know, as far as the entrepreneurial journey is concerned.
Amazing, thank you. And I was just piggybacking on your skin in the game pit. I mean, if I am a funder and I'm giving you money and I see that you have actually committed some resources to your business, it gives me the hope that you are somebody that is not going to like misuse the money, that you have your skin in the business. So
I can share an experience to substantiate that. In 2014, whilst I was doing national service, I was into this, you know, game changer program. I started helping a certain community because when I went, the experiences that the children had were similar to what I had in the north, in western region. And I started to construct a solar lamp for them to learn at night with mentors and all of that. And after which, a friend of mine recommended me, and I applied for something, Reach for Change program, and you know, they went through on Viasat 1, game changer program. And then I couldn't win the ultimate, you know, but I didn't give up. I still kept on. And after 1 year, the people that were working with came back to just find out what the game changers were doing. Or when they came, there were 5. They were looking for 2 to see what the progress. And out of the 5, I was one of the outstanding ones because I didn't have the funding. And based on that, they actually, you know, came in to give us extra fund. So even if you are a youth and you are looking at where do you attract funding, you know, one of the main things you should be looking for is what have you been able to do yourself, you know, without the funding. And that is very, very key. So this is something I felt was going to be very relevant.
Amazing. I mean, we are having a very good time on the interview today, but our time is also fast spent. And we have a few minutes to close the interview. I am quite... I don't even know how to put it, but I'm quite excited about opportunities within the agri-food system space for young people. And you rightfully put it that, I mean, across all the value chains, there's something for you to do. So young people out there, look at this space and innovate. And I know that there's great funding opportunities that are available, especially when you are solving some of the challenges that are connected to the SDGs. So I'll take your final words. I mean, generally, Frederick, tell us about final words to young people. How can they enter into frog farming? And me, right now, I'm very interested in it and how I would even try and venture into that. So if a young person is listening to you, as a way of final words, if they want to venture into frog farming, how do they do it?
Okay. Oh, thank you. I would touch little on the mentorship. Actually, I've been a beneficiary of so many mentors, especially with this novel business. One key person is Dr. Sandra Jamfi. She works in the University of Ghana here, one of the departments. She's an amphibian expert. So when we started it, most of the times when we have cases of mortality, sickness, we have to call her for help. We also have people like Sir Peter Bio Opong, who's based in the US. And these people have actually mentored us a lot. And we have our own brother here and many more who through MasterCard Foundation have done it. So that alone is more than enough. But the young people out there, what I will say is that entrepreneurship is not easy. You will come out with a solution to a compelling problem. But that solution, if you joke, people will make fun of you. People will make mockery. They will ridicule you. And if you are not strong enough, you will have to let go of it. Imagine someone like me starting a frog farm, and they start calling you frog professor, frog doctor, frog what. They say, hey, you young guy, you won't go and be doing any other business, you are doing frog. How do you even catch them? Then your girl telling you, if you chew frog, she won't kiss you. Say, hey, don't worry. As a young person out there, whatever idea it is, stand firm on it. Persistent, endurance, and be disciplined, and you succeed. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
And thank you to your cherished listeners.
Thank you, Frederick. And your final words also, Mr. Anthony, and maybe any words to the family at TTU.
Yeah. So thank you very much. I would say that there is nothing new under the sun. Do not wait till your idea become perfect before you start. As much as possible, find a way of starting. And once you start, and then you mingle yourself, just like I said, I encourage agribusiness anyway.
Yeah.
You put yourself within these programs that we are talking about, like this carbon program, which has proven to be very, very, effective, in breeding entrepreneurs. Because when they came, some of them came to showcase what they had done.
Yeah.
And it was just inspiring. So I will just encourage that step out and start and get access to people who can help you along the line to progress your idea steadily, and also not to end by acknowledging the contributions that people have played, to the point where I have to come here to cut Accra as an ordinary person and end up being a celebrity. As a celebrity.
The students are really...
Yeah. Up till today. So even today when you approached me, I was like, hey, you guys are making me a celebrity in Accra here. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And then to the dog who gave me the platform to share with him on the platform.
Yes. Pierre.
If he's listening, I deeply appreciate it. This was a very good opportunity. And to also appreciate people who have impacted me, like the executive director of KIC, Benjamin Jankese. He has impacted me so much, throughout my career journey, and others, like Ato and Co. And I also want to appreciate the Takrady Technical University staff, especially Professor Victor Numfam, who has also given me the opportunity to, operate within the Innovation Hub, and then Madam Anita Bremer, who has worked with me for over 4 years. They've really given me the right support. So I appreciate everything.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony. Thank you, Frederick, for sharing with us. Thank you, young people, for tuning in. We always come your way Thursdays, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. with Next Gen Connect on Z101.9 FM. And if you're tuning in, if you're a young business and you want to support us and you want us to also throw light on your business, kindly reach out to us and we can do that for you. Up next on Z is Highway 1019, which is Sticks, and we come your way again next week. Bye-bye.